golden hues of the setting sun stretched across the empty highway, broken only by the distant rumble of approaching motorcycles. In the center of a circle formed by the ruthless biker gang known as the Iron Jackals, a battered German shepherd named Atlas stood his ground. His fur was matted with dirt and streaks of blood, his body trembling with exhaustion, yet his sharp eyes never wavered. He was injured, but not broken. From the dry brush across the road, Nathan Cole, a 37-year-old former Marine turned federal agent, watched intently, his jaw clenched, his grip tight around the pistol he hadn't yet drawn. He had faced war zones, hostage situations, and cartel ambushes, but this was different. This was personal. Atlas wasn't just a partner, he was family. The gang jeered and laughed, their arrogance feeding off each other like a pack of wild dogs. One of them, a burly man covered in tattoos, stepped closer, swinging a heavy chain. Atlas let out a low, warning growl. He was hurt, outnumbered, and barely standing, but his spirit refused to yield. Nathan's heart pounded. If he moved too soon, he'd put Atlas in even greater danger. If he waited too long, the gang might kill him. Think, damn it! His mind raced, searching for the perfect moment to strike. The bikers, too caught up in their own cruelty, had no idea they were being watched. But Nathan knew one thing for certain: this fight wasn't over. A gunshot shattered the tension. Nathan didn't hesitate. In one swift motion, he fired a warning shot into the dirt, his voice cutting through the gang's laughter like a blade. "Step away from him! Now!" The bikers turned, momentarily stunned. That hesitation was all Nathan needed. He surged forward, his movements precise, trained, lethal. The burly man with the chain barely had time to react before Nathan struck, disarming him with a brutal twist. A second gang member lunged. Nathan dodged, countered, and dropped him with a hard blow to the ribs. Through the chaos, Atlas heard his handler's voice. Despite the pain racking his body, he forced himself to move. Step by step, he pushed forward until he was at Nathan's side. Relief flooded through Nathan as he crouched, his hand pressing gently against the dog's bloodied fur. He was alive. That was all that mattered. But there was no time to celebrate. The gang was regrouping, their shock turning to rage. Nathan pulled a flashbang from his belt and hurled it into the dirt. A deafening explosion of light and sound sent the bikers reeling. In that split second, he lifted Atlas into his arms, muscles burning as he sprinted toward his truck. Doubt gnawed at him. Was this really over? The gang was too organized, too prepared. As he sped away, his gaze flicked to the small metallic object glinting on the ground. A USB drive. Nathan's gut tightened. This wasn't just an ambush, it was a message. Nathan's hands tightened on the steering wheel as he sped down the dark highway, his pulse pounding in his ears. The gang wouldn't just let them go. They had been too prepared, too coordinated. This wasn't over, not even close. In the passenger seat, Atlas lay motionless, his chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Nathan stole a quick glance at him. Blood matted the dog's fur, and every limp breath sent a fresh wave of worry crashing over him. He needed medical attention, fast. Checking the rearview mirror, Nathan's gut twisted. Headlights. At least 3 motorcycles were gaining on them, their engines roaring like hunting wolves. Think. The emergency vet clinic was still miles away. He couldn't risk leading the gang straight there. Gritting his teeth, Nathan jerked the wheel, swerving onto an unmarked dirt road, kicking up a cloud of dust behind him. The truck bounced violently over the uneven terrain, but he didn't slow down. He couldn't. Gunfire cracked through the night. A bullet shattered the side mirror. Nathan clenched his jaw, pushing the truck harder. They weren't just chasing him. They were trying to kill him. Ahead, a small gas station flickered into view. He had one shot. He killed the headlights, skidding into the lot, and jumped out, gun drawn. The bikers roared past, oblivious to his sudden disappearance. Nathan exhaled sharply, but there was no time to rest. Atlas needed help, and fast. This fight wasn't over. It was just beginning. Nathan's heart pounded as he carried Atlas into the gas station's dimly lit bathroom. He locked the door, bracing himself against the sink for a brief moment, his breath coming in sharp, controlled bursts. They had barely escaped, but for how long? He pulled the USB drive from his pocket, its smooth metal warm from his grip. Why did the gang want this so badly? His instincts screamed that this wasn't just a careless drop. It was left behind on purpose, a warning, a trap. With shaking hands, he pulled out his burner laptop, booting it up on the cracked tile counter. Files flooded the screen, weapon shipments, coded messages, and surveillance photos. His chest tightened as he scrolled, a deep unease settling into his bones. Photos of him and Atlas, captured from different angles, different locations. Some were from missions he had done months ago, others from last week. They had been watching for months, maybe longer. Nathan's blood ran cold. He scanned the files again, a list of names, politicians, law enforcement, private contractors, and at the bottom a name that made his stomach drop. Ryan Maddox, an old friend, a trusted ally, and now connected to a gang of killers. Nathan clenched his fists, his mind racing. This was bigger than a biker gang. Someone was pulling the strings, someone powerful, and they had made a mistake coming after him. He shut the laptop and stood, his jaw set. Now it was personal. Nathan's grip tightened on his gun as the figure stepped out of the shadows. Ryan Maddox. For a moment, disbelief clouded his judgment. The man standing before him wasn't just an old ally. He was someone Nathan had once trusted with his life. Now he was linked to the very gang trying to kill him. How the hell had it come to this? Atlas let out a low, warning growl from his spot by Nathan's side, his ears pinned back despite his injuries. Nathan didn't lower his weapon. Not yet. Maddox raised his hands in mock surrender, his expression unreadable. Nathan, listen to me. The Iron Jackals, they're just pawns in something bigger. His voice was calm, controlled, too controlled. You're in over your head. Nathan's pulse thundered, but he kept his face unreadable. He couldn't afford to trust blindly, not now. Then start talking, he said coldly. Maddox took a slow step forward. I can help you, he said, but you need to trust me. Suspense coiled around them like a noose. Nathan's instincts screamed that this was a trap. Yet the files on the USB drive painted a picture too complex for a gang of bikers alone. Maddox was connected, but was he the enemy or the only lead Nathan had left? A tense silence stretched between them. Then finally, Nathan lowered his gun. Just an inch. You've got 5 minutes. Whatever came next would determine everything. Maddox took a slow breath. His eyes locked on Nathan's. 5 minutes. That was all he had. The Jackals are just the muscle, he started, his voice low. The real power? It's bigger than you think. Government contracts, black market deals, people in high places pulling the strings. Nathan didn't flinch, but his jaw tightened. He had suspected as much, but hearing it confirmed sent a chill down his spine. The USB drive wasn't just about weapons. It was a blueprint for corruption at the highest levels. And now he and Atlas were targets. Atlas, still weak but alert, shifted beside him. Maddox's gaze flicked to the dog. They wanted him dead for a reason, he added. Ranger units, your kind of training. It's a liability to them. Nathan's grip on his weapon tightened. It was no longer about survival. It was about taking the fight to them. Maddox took another step forward. "You need me, Nathan. You can't do this alone." A muscle ticked in Nathan's jaw. Trust was dangerous, but so was standing alone against an enemy this powerful. He glanced at Atlas, then back at Maddox. What would you do in Nathan's place? Would you trust Maddox or handle this alone? Let us know in the comments. If you're ready for more of this intense journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Nathan's fight is just beginning, and you won't want to miss what happens next. At its core, this story is about loyalty, resilience, and the fight for truth. Values that apply to all of us, no matter where we are in life. Nathan and Atlas remind us that true strength isn't just about physical endurance, but about standing firm in the face of adversity. We all face battles, whether they're personal struggles, challenges at work, or moments of doubt. But like Nathan, we must make tough choices, trust wisely, and keep moving forward. Loyalty and integrity matter, whether in relationships, friendships, or standing up for what's right, even when the odds seem overwhelming. And sometimes, like Nathan, we have to decide whether to trust others or go it alone. The lesson? Life will test us, but our character is defined by how we respond. No matter how dark the road gets, courage, faith, and determination will always light the way. Keep pushing forward. You are stronger than you think.